Back in 2010, I had the good fortune of working with GFRAS during the Rio Plus 20 conference. This was a United Nations event where the world began talking about agriculture in a different way. After decades of neglecting policy related to agriculture and the development agenda it needed, we saw a renewed interest in 2008 and 2009. That was reflected in key outcome documents in 2010, and ultimately now, I'm very proud to say that in 2015, the world agreed that agriculture is at the top of the agenda. The Sustainable Development Goals approved in 2015 identify food security, nutrition, and sustainable agriculture as goal number 2. These key areas will be setting the global agenda until 2030. For the next 15 years, we'll be focused on how to feed people, how to tackle childhood stunting, how to increase productivity for smallholders, to foster resilience and sustainability amongst farmers, and to protect the resources that we need to farm effectively, including plants and animal genetic pools. These 5 key targets are an incredible opportunity to foster agreement and action on agripreneurship, because agripreneurship is the key way to drive improvements in the quality of life in rural areas. Farming is a passionate livelihood. It is a livelihood that needs the opportunity to be fostered by new added business incentives. Open markets are essential. The opportunity for people to reach local and regional solutions as well as international markets is key. And the opportunity to add in collective partnerships of private sector, of farmers themselves, of public sector, of donors, and of academics is the way to drive new collaboration to help individuals be great agripreneurs. The youth movement is a key part of this, and we want to see young people finding futures in rural areas. Urban transition is an important part of our population development. But until we find ways to incent people with livelihoods and good reasons to stay in rural areas, we will continue to see migration that empties one region in favor of cities and doesn't provide a balancing opportunity where people can have a great quality of life in a rural setting, building on their economic and educational opportunities very effectively. Every farm is like a business. It is a business. We tend to talk of farming like it is an engagement that is only a lifestyle. And having grown up on a farm, I know that it is definitely part of the spirit of farming to be passionate about it and to think of it as where you live. But it is also the way people make their living. So when we talk about agripreneurship, we are talking about how farms get better at being businesses, how every rural person can be engaged in enterprise. And that's why it's so important for us to think about the means to foster better skills amongst farmers. Rural advisory services are absolutely central. And as we're thinking about how to best plant a crop, how to best look after animals, we need to think too about the business skills that allow those farmers to be successful. First and foremost, we need literacy and numeracy training. Without those things, no farmer, no rural person can be empowered to be fully engaged in the commercial cycle. This is an important foundation that can affect agripreneurship around the world, and particularly in Africa. Rural services are often far too hard to get. Financial services are essential, but at the same time, it's the empowerment to be able to negotiate, to know whether or not you're profitable, and to be able to access value-added chains. And that in particular is my final thought about this. We need to find ways for farmers and the people in rural communities to find ways to add value to their product. Those products are so essential to delivering food, nutrition, and other benefits. They can be energy, it can be leather, it can be fibers. And the opportunity to store that product, to sell it when you're ready, To add a little value by first primary processing is the key to creating more jobs and better rural economies. We want to see agripreneurship expand and drive growth in Africa and around the world. Thank you.